Hello, everyone. This is the Committee on Hawaiian Affairs. We are at the April 10th, 1 p.m. agenda. We actually have two 1 p.m. agendas. We're going to be starting with the one that has the 5 candidates for Burial Council and Hawaiian Homes Commission. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. This meeting is being live streamed on YouTube. Again, this is the April 10th, 1 p.m. agenda for the 5 GM nominations. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end the hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business either prior to the end time at 2:30, or we may have to reschedule to next week. Testifiers, please be aware that there is a 2-minute time limit to ensure that everyone has the time to submit testimony and have their voices heard. We appreciate any understanding and remind you the committee has your written testimony if you'd like to stand on your written testimony. If you are interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislature's website, and there you will find a link on the status page for the measures. So let's get started. GM Measure 680, Leimana Abinez.
Aloha.
Oh, hang on, Leimana. What we're going to do is we'll get the testimony for you, and then I'll come back to you, okay? Aloha. So first I have DLNR.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name's
Aloha.
My name is Jessica Poff. I'm the administrator of the State Historic Preservation Division. We have submitted written testimony and do stand on our testimony, but I did want to highlight just a few things from our testimony. Ms. Abinez has a strong genealogical connections to the Kahala district that she wishes to represent. She was raised by her maternal grandparents to uphold their family cultural and linguistic traditions, which include Native Hawaiian healing and spiritual practices. She considers the protection and preservation of Hawaiian cultural practices as serious and sacred kuleana. Ms. Abinez's ties to Kahala are further reflected through her familiarity and indispensable knowledge of the Aina. We strongly and happily support her nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the testifiers I have listed. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to speak on her behalf? Seeing none, Leimana, go ahead. Please introduce yourself to the committee and say a statement about yourself.
Aloha, my name is Leimana Abanez. Born in Kapa'au, there, adjacent to Pai'a's statue on August 17, 1969, in the Ahupua of Kapa'au. To be on this board and to be representing this moku of Kohala is profound. It means a lot to me, especially for the protection of our iwi kupuna. It is something that I take very seriously, as I was raised by my maternal grandparents, and I'll do anything and everything within my power to protect them safely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Leimana. Any questions from the committees? Okay, full disclosure, Leimana and I had a great conversation, and I actually know a lot of her family, back to her grandparents, great-grandparents even. So I've known her family for actually generations, and so I really appreciate you standing forward, Leimana. Thank you. We'll be voting at the end of the agenda, okay?
Mahalo, Senator Tim.
Mahalo. Okay, moving on. Governor's Message 681 for Cyrus Sito for nomination to the Burial Council, Big Island of Hawaii. Testifying, we have DLNR.
Good afternoon again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jessica Puff. I'm the administrator of SHPD. We have submitted written testimony, and I did want to just reflect some of the testimony we submitted for everyone listening. Mr. Seto's extensive work and educational background provides him with expertise on matters in Hawaiian culture, language, and values, and his experiences demonstrates his commitment to preservation, revitalization, and transmission of Hawaiian knowledge, both in academic and community settings. He has been an advocate for the protection of iwi kupuna, having participated in the repatriation and care of iwi kupuna on multiple islands over the past 20 years, and we happily and strongly support his nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the testifiers I have registered. Is there anybody else in the room would like to? Hearing none. Mr. Cito, go ahead, introduce yourself to the group and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, aloha mai kākou.
Aloha.
My name is Poki Isito. I was born and raised in Wai'anae, Oahu. Hilo is now my home, actually a little bit more uka up Oma'olala near Volcano. And Hilo has been my home since 2003. I met my wife, she's from Keaukaha. Both of my sons are born and raised Hilo. I've been a part of a burial council from when I was young. My father was on the Oahu Burial Council when I was younger, so I have experience through him on, I've witnessed firsthand what happens and what goes down with burial council work, and being able to contribute my knowledge to the betterment of the iwi kupuna. It's a very much an honor for me to be able to advocate on their behalf and to help the communities in which things may arise dealing with iwi and kupuna from those certain places. And I just hope that the generational knowledge that I have can be of help.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee? All right, we had a great conversation and interesting. He's got his doctorate in Hawaiian language, so appreciate that. Again, we'll be voting at the end of the agenda.
Mahalo nui.
Mahalo. Moving on to Governor's Message 686 for consideration to the Big Island Burial Council, Chantel Freeman. For testifying, we have DLNR.
Hello again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Jessica Poff, the Administrator of the State Historic Preservation Division. We have submitted written testimony in support, and I just wanted to provide a little bit for the audience why we support this candidate. Chantel Freeman has been a lifelong practitioner of Native Hawaiian cultural practices and ancestral stewardship. Her personal experiences in the generational kuleana of her family in preparing and protecting iwi kupuna in Waipio Valley provided her with a sense of deep responsibility in upholding traditional practice and protocol, and we strongly and happily support her nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody, this is all I have registered for testifying. Is there anybody else who wants to speak on her behalf? Okay, hearing none. Chantel, are you online?
Not available on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, thank you. If she does come on, please let us know. Again, I had a great conversation with her as well. I think she's well qualified. Moving on to Governor's Message 763, candidate for Burial Council on Islands of Kauai and Ni'ihau, Mr. Chadley Schimmelfennig. I think I said that right. For testifying, we have DLNR.
Good afternoon. Again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Jessica Puff, the Administrator of the State Historic Preservation Division. We did submit written testimony for anyone who would like to read it, but just one small little bit about why we support Mr. Schimmelfennig. He was raised with the knowledge of traditional burial practices and has been taught to identify and care for iwi kupuna, actively engaging in the kuleana of site protection and reinterment. His understanding of protocol and his humility in seeking guidance from kupuna and cultural practitioners further exemplifies his connection to the community and why we strongly and happily support his nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. I have 5 in support. That's the only one I have registered for oral testimony. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on behalf of the candidate? Hearing none. Hello, Mr. Schimmelfennig. Go ahead. Am I saying that right?
Schimmelfennig, yeah.
Okay, terrific.
I just
Go
made
ahead,
it sound a little
introduce yourself.
easier. Hello, Mike Kako. My name is
Aloha.
Chad Schimmelfennig. I am born and raised on the island of Kauai. I am an educator, administrator, and a culture practitioner slash heiau restorer that I've been kind of passed upon from my lineal family descendancy and what we do. I want to just mahalo everybody for the time and appreciate your consideration for the Burial Council.
Okay, thank you so much. Now open it up to the committee. You have any questions? All right, hearing none. Again, we'll be voting at the end of the agenda. Thank you, and I appreciate you are willing to serve. Moving on to our final GM message. This is GM 773, being nominated for the Hawaiian Homes Commission, Shaylin Ornelas. We have 45 in support, 0 in opposition. In person, we have Department of Hawaiian Homes. Kali, are you testifying?
Afternoon, Chair, as well as Vice Chair and members of the committee. Kali Watson in testifying on behalf of the Shaylin Ornelas. In talking with her, as well as looking at her resume and just looking at her background and her involvement, not only in the community from an educational standpoint. I mean, she worked with Kamehameha schools at Puhi, as well as Kapa'a High School. Then she also was very active in the development in Princeville. Then she's has some experience in well and water development, including real estate. With all the things that we have going on Kauai, with development in the Wailua, as well as Anahola, as well as the Lihui area, which involves not only infrastructure, but also some commercial development in Wailua. So her being from the island, very connected, culturally oriented, I think she's would be a wonderful addition with her insight. We're also getting very active in subsistence agriculture development, which she was active in helping the Kilauea organization get their project off the ground. So I'm very excited about her providing her insight and assistance on our board. So we're definitely very, very much in support, as is reflective in all the testimony in her favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one I have registered Demont.
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
Demont Kalai Mana Ole, co-manager of Hope Mana Pono LLC, a Native Hawaiian Advocacy Corporation operating on the Waianae Coast. I'd like to say aloha to our senator from the west side, Samantha, and hello to all our friends over here on the board. I'm here to support this nomination because I gotta tell you, we're in one different time right now. Okay, I never vote for Governor Green, but I will vote for him the next time because I see the moves that he made that for Hawaiians in his administration. And one of the moves that I would really appreciate now, because he got Kali over there. And if you get one quarterback in your team, you cannot be having people that are going to be on your team that are going to sack the quarterback every time you make a move. So I like Shaylin because I see her background. And one of the things that catch me was that she's in real estate. And she understands that. The problem we've had in the past is that we've had people involved with the commission and with the department that had absolutely no understanding of real estate or development or anything. And now people would vilify developers from coming into the department because they think developers are going to take advantage. Well, they have. They have, because the people that was in the department and in the commission never understand about development. And so we got taken advantage of. A lot of homesteads like Kaupea, the homes are terrible because developers took advantage of our people. Now Kali's in, Kali is saying, no, we're going to do the development. We're going to be in control of the development because they got to be responsible to us. And the commission is responsible to us. And I see that Shailene will be good. Kehaulani, I believe her middle name is Kehaulani. Aloha, Tita. First time I ever met you. Never did talk story with her. But I look at her resume and I think to myself, she'd be a good addition to the team because she understands the struggle that we have. And being on the commission, understanding about real estate is very helpful. And I really support that. Give her a chance. Aloha.
Aloha, thank you. I have another registration for Heilani Sonata Pale. There we go, online.
Aloha, aloha Chair
Aloha.
Richards and Vice Chair San Buenaventura and committee members. Kalahui Hawaii is in strong support of Shailene Kehaunani Ornelas being confirmed to the Hawaiian Homes Commission representing the island of Kauai. She brings a wealth of experience and deep, authentic connection to Kauai. She has strong, deep, familial connections to homestead communities like Anahola and Kekaha. And her ohana is also Kuleana landowners from Pila'a. And these connections have shaped her aloha for the Aina and her dedication to serving the Lahui. At this pivotal moment when the diaspora of Kanaka Maoli continues to grow and housing insecurity has become a crisis, we need commissioners who lead with Ike Hawaii accountability and a fierce commitment to keeping our people on our lands. Shailene Kehaunani Ornelas has a long history of public service, including her current role as the chair of the Kauai Public Access, Open Space, and Natural Resources Preservation Fund Commission and past service on various commissions and committees. Her background in education, small business, and real estate, paired with her work in community organizing, positions her as a capable and culturally grounded voice for Kauai beneficiaries. She is not a DHHL beneficiary herself, which allows her to serve without personal interest and with a commitment to fairness and transparency. Her actions consistently reflects the values of aloha, kuleana, and lokahi, and her leadership is grounded in the well-being of future generations of Kanaka Maoli. We strongly urge the committee to confirm Shailene Kehaunani Ornelas as a Kikio Ka'aina of Kauai. Mahalo.
Mahalo. That is all the people I have registered to testify in person. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to say anything? Seeing not, please come join us, Shailene. Identify yourself for the record and make a statement, and then we'll open up for questions.
Aloha mai kako.
Aloha.
If you will forgive me, I will introduce myself after. Is that
Sure.
okay? All right. O wai ale ale ku'u mauna, o ka'ipuha'a e ku'u aina, e wailua e ku'u ka'ahawai, o wau Shailene Kehaunani Ornelas. I sit here today with an army of those who are with us and far deceased. I am answering the kahea of kupuna on Kauai who currently reside in Anahola. My only wish is to serve. And so with that, I would invite you for questions.
Okay, thank you. We had a great conversation. You answered all my questions. I'm going to open it up to the committee. Committee members? Go ahead, Senator DeCord.
Hi, Shailene. Congratulations on your nomination, and thank you for your willingness to serve. I do have a few questions. My first question is, what is your understanding of Act 279?
My understanding of Act 279 is definitely not that of yours.
Well, what is it
I
of the
understand that it is
legislature?
the $600 million that was given to Department of Hawaiian Homelands to work on the waiting list of over 28,000 Hawaiians.
Okay. Yeah, and according to the description of the 2022 Hawaii State Legislature that had passed Act 279 was to create a multi-pronged approach in reducing its wait list. So that's verbatim, that comes from the state legislature, not my interpretation. But thank you, you did very well in explaining that, so I appreciate that. What is your position on the courtyards that Waipoli purchased and Lehui purchased from Grove Farms?
My position is, and I will speak for Kauai in my experience, my father who sits behind me was raised in Anahola. And we currently do not have many housing options for our people. We have, house and lot in Anahola. We have the farm lots. We have many people I have over 100 members of my family on the waiting list. And I think in this day and age, we have to be progressive, we have to be innovative, and we have to be forward-thinking for generations to come. And so without housing options, I feel like it doesn't matter how much money is given to the department, that if we are not listening to what it is that our lessees, our beneficiaries need, it'll be very, very hard to move forward, not just with the list, but in elevating our Hawaiian people. And so my position is to really take off the blinders and to look at all options and to ask the people what they want.
And when you say ask the people what they want, are you referring to the beneficiaries?
Yes.
Okay, so do you believe that there should be a beneficiary consultation prior to the planning of these projects, during the projects, or?
It is my understanding that surveys were sent out and that, obviously on the outer islands, there's going to be a larger group of people who are looking for the, house and lot model versus here on Oahu. But I feel as though Chair Watson is a true visionary. And so with the, he being at the helm and understanding all of, top to bottom operations, I think that beneficiary involvement is absolutely critical to moving forward. And I also believe that that will be achieved through transparency.
Great, thank you. And according to the Act 279 $600 million funds, do you know how many leases were awarded to the island that you particularly represent?
I don't know the number, but I do know that the Pili Maike Kai awarded 52 leases for that property, and about 10 of them were my family. So I'm really happy about that.
Oh, great. And then final question, Chair, thank you so much. What is your interpretation of paper leases?
So paper leases, and I don't know a lot about this, but however, my understanding of paper leases is allowing our waitlisters to name a beneficiary in life and allowing them to pass on, knowing that they have left this legacy to their ohana.
Do you know if those paper leases actually come with lot numbers, or if there's a time frame on how long these paper leases will last? Or also, do you know if those paper leases that are issued, if they actually jump in front of the numerical order according to the wait list?
So at this time, I'm not familiar of the inner workings of paper leases. I just know that in the discussions that I have had with the Kupuna group, who asked me to toss my hat in the ring, the overall sentiment was very positive, and that they felt that that was a huge way to be able to work on the list.
Okay, and just my final comment, and then we can move on. Thank you very much for answering these questions. I would highly encourage you to do the research. About 20 years ago, paper leases were issued from the former director of DHHL. And so I think till this day, paper leases are still pending as far as lots being awarded. So back in my Kakane days, paper leases were also issued. And I think about 700-ish of those leases are still pending today. So I would just encourage you to do your research and to make sure that beneficiaries are not misled when they do receive paper leases, that these actually come with actual lots. And so I would just encourage you with that. But again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your willingness to serve. And Chair, thank you for allowing me to ask questions.
Okay, thank you, Senator. Other questions? But,
Hi,
Senator
aloha.
Kemp.
Thank you for
Aloha.
stepping forward to put your name in to serve and for submitting yourself to this process. What I recall under the Lingo administration was that the Department of Hawaiian Homeland's leadership attested that Micah Kane in particular, that under his tenure as director, that they offered under his administration lease awards to every member of the wait list that had viable contact information at least one time. And that for a number of different reasons, a lot of them maybe financial, but many of them because the awards were not in line with the preferences of the beneficiaries on the wait list. A significant number of those on the wait list declined the awards. And pursuant to the department and the commission's policy, not pursuant to statute, the department's policy then, and I believe it is still now, that the preference on the wait list is determined by the date in which they applied, and that they maintain that spot on the list regardless of how many times they decline, regardless of the reasons for which they decline. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding.
Okay. Part of this discussion about the paper lease is that a lessee is entitled a right of successorship, but a beneficiary on the wait list is not, right? And prior paper leases were issued with an attachment to a specific lot. And I'm not familiar with the specifics of the paper lease issuance this time around, to Senator DeCourt's point. But I'm wondering what your feeling is on that situation on the wait list, where you have beneficiaries who decline sometimes multiple times for whatever reason, but maintain their spot on the list. And hold out for potentially a better offering that oftentimes doesn't come, and then have no right to have someone succeed their spot on that list. What's your feeling on that?
Well, I don't know enough about it to be able to, have a strong position on it. I do know several people who have deferred several times, exactly what you said, for an area that is more preferable to them, and that they maintain their assigned number. I think that for me, what I'm passionate about is that if I have the opportunity to be, obviously gain your vote and to be fully confirmed by the Senate, that's one of the things that really excites me, is to be able to be privy to some of that information. That as, whether I was teaching at Kanu'i Kapono that sits right there on Hawaiian homestead land, or selling a property to somebody who wants to come home from the mainland, the information that is available to the layperson as myself isn't as in-depth, I think, as I don't understand the nuances and the intricacies of that.
Yeah.
And so should I be confirmed, that issue really interests me, because I know people who have done that. And I also know people that have, my age, who have done that. And so I don't understand enough about it to say that it's, good, bad, or indifferent at this time.
Well, so the reason I bring this up is what I've been told by prior administrations. I don't know if that's still the same policy, because again, my understanding is that this is a policy that was determined by the commission. It doesn't actually exist in the language of the commission, the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, is that part of the reason why beneficiaries who opt not to take a lease award maintain their spot on the list is that there's a belief that the beneficiary has a property right in their number on the list, and that it cannot just be taken away from them. They applied their number 387 or 4,728, and the department doesn't have any authority to bump them down regardless of how many times they opt out of an offering for whatever reason. Another policy that's not established in the language of the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act is the policy that a prior Hawaiian Homes Commission adopted, that beneficiaries who take a rental through the department's kupuna housing or other rental program, like what's being contemplated, I believe for Bolodrome, and I believe on Kauai, they maintain their spot on the list. And the department doesn't get any actual credit for taking someone off the wait list. You see how that kind of, now you have Hawaiians that have places to stay. They've perhaps elected to stay knowing that a permanent lease will not be issued because it's a rental project. But the department doesn't get credit for taking that Hawaiian off of the wait list and putting them in a home, albeit not the home perhaps contemplated in the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act. I actually think that it is contemplated, but that's a matter of maybe argument for some in the community, right? But that's where I'm getting to this whole issue of the paper lease, because it's an option to allow these beneficiaries who have waited their whole lives or decades for an issuance to at least pass something on, if they have come to the conclusion that they may not actually see the offering that they desired when they originally signed up, which is the same choice that beneficiaries are making when they elect to take a kupuna housing unit or a rental unit. And from my viewpoint, these are all Hawaiian Homes Commission policy determinations. They're not actually mandates that are enumerated in the act. These are decisions that you will make or continue to authorize as a member of the commission. So I guess I'm asking for your feedback on that, since this issue came up and it is an issue that's active in the beneficiary community today.
So in those who I have spoken to about this issue, it's funny, you have a plethora of interpretations and opinions about that. It does, I have heard some fear and trepidation about that and not being able to, this idea of like serial deferral almost. But I think that given the opportunity, again, is really to be able to work with Chair Watson and the rest of the commission and engage the community, and then learning myself the difference between the actual, what is actually overtly stated, I guess. Because so a lot of the language is open to a lot of interpretation of what it means and what was Prince Kuhio's vision. It's very broad, but I think that I would love the opportunity to be able to talk to our people and understand it better from their standpoint, as well as with the department, because I know both sides. I know as a real estate agent, I've had represented two families who, before there were there was one lender, and they were not able to, they actually pursued buying property on the open market because of the systems and the infrastructure that existed within the department for them to be able to see their award come to fruition. So I think that speaks to that as well, because there's a lot of gray area, and I would love the opportunity to dive a little deeper and explore that. And
the department's own data says that a significant number of beneficiaries on the wait list are already homeowners. So perhaps many of them, I don't want to assume how many, but perhaps there are some of them that are foregoing their awards because there are others who need or or are waiting for something that's superior to the situation there. We cannot speculate on all of that. But I will tell you, I have my own family who we've had to talk to about the fact that their children are not qualifying beneficiaries, who are waiting for 5 bedrooms in Kaneohe to become available on a DHHL lot offering that's just not realistic, likely in their lifetime. And so perhaps taking an offering on the west side, nothing wrong with the west side, but Kaneohe people tend to like Kaneohe, right? But for the opportunity to potentially succeed a lot for their children, right? That's a pretty significant decision to make and a discussion that needs to happen. And, you know, there are lots of beneficiaries that are waiting. And if they wait too long, then the ohana themselves lose the right to that benefit that they've waited so long to achieve, right?
Sure.
So I'd ask you to take a look at that as well. I'm done. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator.
I do have one question.
Go ahead,
And
Senator.
and thank you so much for putting your hat in the ring.
Mahalo.
But my question is with Kali Watson.
Oh.
And it's regarding the one comment we got on her testimony. So Kali, can you come up? So
Mahalo.
Mahalo. All in support. Oh, you might as well. Yeah. They're all in support except for this one comment, and because I'm new to the Hawaiian Affairs Committee. The comment is asking what happened to Kauai Commissioner Dennis Neves.
Yeah, his term ends end of June.
Okay, so this person has wrong information then.
I don't know what the information that person
She
has.
said that his term did not yet end, and why
No,
is somebody else?
June 30th.
Okay, thank you very much.
If I may, you know, while I'm here, I'd really like to answer Senator Keho Kalole's comments and address it. There is a change in the law. Last year, we went in, we changed the law, where we were able to separate the land from the vertical construction financing approach, which is both the Waipouli as well as the Bolodrome situation. We got financing for the vertical. We got $155 million for the Bolodrome, and I believe something like 25, as well as some additional funding, totaling over 40 million for the Waipouli project. But what we did on those projects is we separated, pursuant to a law we got passed last year, whereby we basically, by separating the vertical construction and financing from the actual property or the real estate under it, we're able to issue a homestead lease up front. So they get a homestead lease, they get taken off the wait list immediately. And so that has been a major, major change, as well as a major criticism of our older LIHTC with option to purchase programs, which we are also converting, thereby issuing homestead leases to the people that are participating in that, rather than waiting 15 years, whereby if you died during that period, you get nothing. So that was a very bad situation that we've corrected.
Yeah, so, okay, well, thank you for clarifying that, because I know under prior administrations, the commission did engage in rules around rentals, and the result of that, of those commission actions were specifically not to credit the rentals. Maybe we're talking about the same thing, I think.
Well, we're talking about the LIHTC with option to purchase. Now, the Kapuna housing, that's straight up rentals, that they will stay renters, and that's what they choose.
Right, yeah, that's not, yeah, maybe it was the LIHTC. Okay,
And then,
thank you.
Yeah, okay. And then one last thing, you know, there is a distinction between a paper lease awardee who becomes now a lessee, who can now transfer his interest to a beneficiary that's only 25%. If you're on the wait list, an applicant, you cannot transfer that situation to anybody other than at least 50% Hawaiian. So that was one of the reasons we're.
But does the
going with
beneficiary have a
paperless.
property right to their spot on the list?
Well, that's a legal question. I'll leave to
Yeah,
the lawyer.
well, so that's,
But what we're trying to do is address it. Because right now, you know, if you die and you're just on the wait list, unless your heirs are 50% Hawaiian, they don't get nothing.
well, build more houses, we solve the problem, right?
Right. That's what we're going to try and do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Senator?
nothing further.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Kelly. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Okay, I'm going to take things a little bit out of order. Chantel was able to join us on Zoom, so we're going to go back, then we'll go into decision-making. So Chantel, we've had testimony on your behalf. Please introduce yourself to the committee and then open up for questions for you. Chantel has been nominated for the Burial Council, Big Island. Go ahead, Chantel.
Tako o Chantel Ko'uinoa. Thank you guys for all having me. Kalamaya'u for my tardiness. I just rushed in from work, but no excuse nonetheless. I'm here located on Moku'oke'awe and currently residing in our volcano district. I was born on Oahu and raised here on this island from small baby time. So thank you guys all for having me here.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from any of the committee members? No, but Chantel, I really appreciate you rushing to get online so the committee had the potential of asking you questions. So stand by. We're going to go into decision-making very shortly.
No, just a short comment. So,
Hang on, we got a question for you.
no, not Chantel, Joyce Ann Buenaventura, your senator for Volcano, Puna District. So I thank you for putting your hat in the ring and willing to represent, especially Puna or Moku'oke'awe. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to recess and be back for decision-making. This is the Committee on Hawaiian Affairs, and we have reconvened for decision-making on the first measure, GM 680 for Leimana Abinas. It's my recommendation to the committee to advise and consent. Any conversation? Hearing none. Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, voting on GM 680, Chair's recommendations to advise and consent. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Senator Ihara.
Aye.
Senator Kehokolole.
Aye.
Senator DeCourt.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to GM 681, Cyrus Sato. It is the recommendation of the chair to advise and consent. He is being put up for the Burial Council again on the Big Island.
Okay, voting on GM 681, Chair's recommendations to advise and consent. All members being present, are there any reservations? Are there any no's? Seeing none, Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to GM 686, Chantel Freeman, again for the Burial Council on Big Island. Recommendation of the chair to advise and consent.
Okay, voting on GM 686, Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent. Seeing no excuse members, all members being present, are there any reservations? Are there any no's? Seeing none, Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to GM 763, submitting Chadley Shimel Fenig's name for Burial Council on Islands of Kauai and Niihau. It's recommendation of the chair to advise and consent.
Okay, voting on GM 763, seeing all members being present, Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent. Are there any no's? Are there any reservations? Seeing none, Chair recommendation has been adopted.
And thank you. And finally, on GM 773, Shailen Ornelas being nominated for Hawaiian Homes Commission, term to expire 6/30/2029. It's recommendation of the chair to advise and consent.
Okay, voting on GM 773, Chair's recommendations to advise and consent, seeing all members being present. Are there any reservations? Are there any no's? Seeing none, Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you so much. We are going to gavel out on this agenda and come in quickly on the other. We are adjourned. Aloha, everyone. Again, this is the Committee on Hawaiian Affairs. This is the other 1 PM agenda on GM 674. This is submitting consideration burial council for Kawaipuna Kalipi on Molokai. We are going to defer this for a little while longer, and we will reconvene on Tuesday, April 15th at 1 PM in room 225. We are adjourned.